Hi, my name's Richard. I'm a self-employed independent mortgage broker with AMAC Mortgages, and I help people that are over 55 access the money that's tied up in their home with something called a lifetime mortgage. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about me. So, I had been working in health and social care for about 10 years, a little over 10 years, and I was as high up as I wanted to go. I was a team leader, I had some staff underneath me, and hadn't helped run the service. Any further up, and it meant me losing client contact, and that's something that I love, helping people. So I spent a lot of time looking through Indeed and deciding that I wanted to retrain and thinking about what I should do and what I could do. And I wanted some very specific things from this. I wanted to be to have a skill or a trade that I can do around the country, potentially even abroad. I wanted to be able to be self-employed or employed for a large corporate or for a small firm. And to cut a long story short, I settled on becoming a mortgage broker. And I did my training while I was still employed. So sometimes getting up at 4:30 in the morning or going to bed at 2 o'clock at night to do CMAP and the qualifications needed. I did my exams and I was lucky enough to get a job at a firm called the Buy to Let business, now called Dynamo for Intermediaries with Ying Tan. And I took a big leap of faith actually from being quite comfortable with a salary and perks to being in a purely commission based role. But I absolutely loved it. I used to go to work with a step in my foot, whatever the phrase is, and I did really well. Qualified, got signed off really quickly by them, and grew a business within a business. But it was a long commute for me. I'd already had a child, so I had a young boy at the time. And when we had our second child, my daughter, I was lucky enough to get approached by CMME, who are a contractor specialist mortgage broker. Again, quite a large firm, and a lot closer to home for me. So a difficult decision, but a decision that I made to go and work with them. And again, really enjoyed it. Learned a whole new aspect to mortgages, and contractor incomes, and a completely different way of working. Um, I'd always wanted to be self-employed. One of my key things was to be employed or self-employed. Always wanted to be self-employed, so I started exploring that while I was at CMME, and I saw a job advert for an insurance firm that wanted to set up a mortgage brokerage or mortgage broker desk. So I thought that's ideal for me. It ticks all of my boxes about setting something up and starting something afresh, and but with the backing of a firm. So I left CMME and I went there and set up a broker desk and got staff underneath us. And unfortunately, after a while, the insurance clawbacks crippled the company that I'd worked for. I was a bit naive and a bit unaware of what was going on in other departments, and we had to shut the doors. And it's at that point that I thought, well, I've always wanted to be self-employed. I thought I need to go it alone now, and I need to focus on what do I want to do and where do I want to be. What's my timeline? What's my real driver? Throughout my career, I'd taken another qualification, equity release qualification. And after a bit of soul searching, I realised that I really love working with an elder demographic, and all of the cases that I'd ever done with equity release and lifetime mortgages were the most enjoyable and most rewarding for me, even if it wasn't financially. And so I decided that I was going to focus more on equity release and lifetime mortgages. So that's really where you come in, and this story comes, I suppose, full circle. I've realised in doing it, since I've been self-employed, that I get so many inquiries from other brokers that are unable to place cases for people over 55. Either they've got missed mortgage payments, or affordability doesn't work on retirement interest only mortgages. And that's what I'd ask from you. What I'm looking to do is set up introducer agreements with other brokers where I'll split a percentage of what I earn in return for you just passing me a name, email, contact details, and a little bit about it. Hopefully we can learn from each other and we can evolve. If that's something that you sounds like you'd be interested in doing, then message me on here on LinkedIn, and we can set up a meeting to take things further. So thanks very much for listening and for watching me today. Hopefully we'll be doing some more videos where we'll talk more about the ins and outs of it, of how it'll all work. But yeah, thanks a lot, and do get in touch today.